Ado yat e beneshant kongi President Nez, Vice President Lizer, Ado Speaker Damon, Ado colleagues and Flenigi, Beshbons Ania, Honorable So, late East Ozade, Ado Honorable Halona Konto Hachi, our arch rival, huh? Ado my older brother, Shana, Honorable Paul Begay, Lay Lechida, he's from Page. He's from probably the furthest away, but he's always on the road. And thank you for coming, brother. Out of my older brother, our next door neighbor to the south, over the hill, yeah. Honorable Yazi, out of Shana, Honorable Raymond Smith, Tessa Anida. He's right at the border of Eastern Agency, though, yeah. But he should come join us, though, yeah. I don't for that prayer, though, yeah. I don't Mark Freeland this year, I don't think tuts on this, not up Kia Ani, a bushes chin, send your Canada che. I don't send up any Asian, 8 chapters, hello, yeah. This is my home chapter, Crownpoint Chapter. This Oza. I have my officials, all my officials, if you can please stand up. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to start with Johnny Johnson. Tehe Aida, Alva Tom, a Secretary Treasurer, President, no, Secretary Treasurer. Phyllis Waleto, she's not here, our Vice President. Tehe Aida, they're from Standing Rock, so thank you for being here, Shantai. Nahadishkish, is anyone from Nahadishkish? Vanessa, or Irvin, or Brenda? Okay, they're not here today. And then we have my president, Rita Capitan, my vice president, Leonard Perry, and then Miss Murphy, she's our secretary treasurer. She's not here today. Thank you. Shema Le Becentida, Marge Lantana, she's our chapter vice president up there. Chapter president, Mr. Jonathan Perry, is he here? Okay. Arlena Risa Arthur, she's our secretary treasurer. Okay, and in Lake Valley, Shema Betsy, good morning. I didn't recognize you. She's our secretary treasurer, Koya. Good morning. Tony Padilla, he's the president. And then our chapter vice president, he's Mr. So Edison So, he's not here, though, yeah. Teltkai, anyone from White Rock? Tina, good morning, Tina. Hi, Tina. She's our administrative staff from White Rock. Mr. Norman Henry, president, council president. Yeah. Mr. Gilbert Roger, he's the council vice president. Miss Brown, she's the council secretary treasurer. So, yeah. Herfano, our esteemed chapter president, Mr. Ben Woody. He's here this morning. Good morning, Mr. Woody. Miss Irene Harvey, she's a chapter vice president. And then the secretary treasurer, Miss Lois Warito. I don't want to say where she's at, but she's somewhere. Mr. Chavez, good morning, sir. Mr. Irvin Chavez, he's our chapter president. Mr. Rory Hawkes, chapter vice president. And Miss Jessica Platero, she's the secretary treasurer. So, those are our 8 chapter officials. This morning is an historic day, and I say that with all appreciation and gratitude. And it's a beautiful day, like my Shadda said earlier, and it's significant. Today's historic because of all of our people who went through a lot during COVID. Togi Denya, electricity, Denya, bathroom is our 8 regional chapters got hit hard. Our 8 regional chapters have real needs significantly for water, electricity, and bathrooms. That's the reason why I wanted to sponsor this legislation. Because of that. During this whole pandemic, we were out there on the front lines with our people, with our chapter officials. We were here at all 8 of our chapters working to get relief out, supplies. We even went to our people's home. We saw firsthand the living conditions the needs, and those resonated with me through this whole period. We saw a lot. We saw a lot. And it's very heartbreaking. This is for all of our people that don't have, especially those out there in remote and rural area, that are in dire need of water and bathrooms and electricity. This is for the families that have to go through generators, or our people have to haul water. So this is for them. Today is significant, and I always remember that night. I put a Zoom call together with my chapters on a Saturday night of all nights. And I got them all on a Zoom call, and I asked them, this is what I want to do. Anytime there's always something I need help with, most of the time, which is the case, I turn to my chapter leadership and I ask for their guidance. I ask for their support. I ask for how we can work together. And this happened. And you know, the result is $1 billion, $70,298,867 legislation today that will be signed into law. And I want to thank my colleagues that voted for this legislation as well. Honorable Smith, Honorable So, Honorable Halona, Honorable Begay, Honorable Yazi. The others, the 15 others that also voted for it. Thank you, Shnat. We are going to change lives and enhance lives forever, beginning today. Here in Eastern Agency, in Northern Agency, Fort Defiance Agency, Central Agency, Western Agency, lives will be forever changed starting today. I want us to know that, because not only here in our chapters, but all 102 other chapters as well, this relief will bring significant change to our people, will forever bring life enhancement, basic infrastructure, basic needs, the most critical basic needs will be brought to our people at the local level, at the Hogan level, Gia. That's what today is about, is bringing that change once and for all. So, I'm very thankful. I'm very humble, Toya. I'm very honored. I thank my colleagues very much. We talked a lot about this, whether it was in person or in text. We talked. President Niz and Vice President Lizer, thank you for coming out to Eastern Agency. I know the multiple times I sent you text messages, President, can you sign the bill out here? It's you know, Eastern Agency, I've told this to my colleagues a lot. Eastern Agency has always been at a disadvantage and always will be because of land status. That's what's unique about us. We're not like Big Navajo. And that's what we need to understand, and my colleagues understand that, because I keep telling them that a lot on the council floor. So I appreciate that. President Nez, you know, I know we do have differences, yes, but we put those aside because we work together for a common good of our people. And today is a good result of what communication, collaboration, execution, and hard work will bring forth. And I appreciate that, President. The discussions, as well as Vice President, your staff, Mr. Chaco, Mr. Leonard Sosi, all the division directors, thank you for being here today. It's a significant day. It's a monumentous day. And we're here at Crownpoint, the Eastern Navajo Agency, to signify the beginning of this legislation and bring change to our people. So I just wanted to say that much, and God bless forever our Navajo people who endured invisible virus, those who survive, the families who lost loved ones, who still suffer and mourn, may they find forever eternal peace and healing. May they be granted eternal peace and healing, because 1,700 lives were taken from us. And I always think about those families, what we saw, what we endured. I think Mr. Woody's community got hit the hardest of our 8 chapters. And I always think of his cemetery when I drive by there, what it was before and what it is now. How many lives were lost? And those families are always on my mind. What you hear out there, what you see out there, as a delegate from our people, knowing that you're there just to provide simple comfort to them. You're there to hear them. That meant a lot. These 2.5 years have been very hard. I ended up catching COVID, yes, but not at the beginning. Thank goodness I was vaccinated. I caught COVID, but I'm good now. But I just wanted to say that much, Akongi, to our frontline workers, our Navajo PD that are here, our Navajo EMS, our Navajo Fire, all of those individuals that are working in this hospital, and all of our service units and clinics across the Navajo Nation as well. Thank you. Thank you, frontline workers, hospital workers, doctors, nurses, techs, security, housekeeping, whatever position that they play, they were all in harm's way as well. And we're forever thankful for them, for their service as well. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of history and background, and me asking my chapters how we could move forward. And I'm very thankful for my chapters, my 8 chapters. I'm very proud of them. When they submitted their projects to Division Community Development Portal, they did that without hesitation. They already knew what was needed out there, and these were identified. The largest sum of projects coming to our area is water. That's going to be the biggest significance for our area is water. Tuegi, Denya, those will be getting water. So again, thank you very much. Ara Koingi, it's a historical, it's a beautiful day. You know, I'm very thankful. Unfortunately, I'm going to get on a horse here pretty soon and try to ride as far as I can towards Coyote Canyon. So I hope you'll be able to see me walking tomorrow or Sunday. But tomorrow we're going to ride to today we try to get to Coyote Canyon, and then we're going to go along 491, Bahas'a, and then towards Yatahe, and then Rock Springs. And then we'll ride into Wind Rock on Sunday. So 3 days I'll be on horseback starting today. That's why I'm kind of dressed like this. So otherwise, thank you very much. God bless each and every one of you, your families, your relatives, your animals, your pets. I know our pets got us through a lot. We're very thankful for them. Our livestock, the livelihood that they get. So thank you very much, and God bless each and every one of you. Of course, God bless our Navajo people, and always, forever, God bless our great Navajo Nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Capitan, and thank you very much for the invite this morning to a wonderful morning here in beautiful Crownpoint, New Mexico. Thank you very much to my colleagues, members of the 24th Navajo Nation Council for being here. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, it's good to see you again. To all the administrative staff from the local regions, to the chapter officials, to all the division directors, good morning. It's always good to see the division directors working together in the capacity that we have here. Good morning to everyone that's listening in Whether you're out there live on YouTube, Facebook, or we're live, I think we're going here on KTNN and a local radio station here. But good, thank you very much for being here. And I think that I don't want to take too much thunder away from your council delegate, Honorable Freeland, but I just want to say thank you for inviting us out here. I don't want to reiterate what he has portrayed and painted the picture of what's being happened here today. I think one of the most important things that we can take away from here is that you're going to be witnessing the Navajo Nation's largest ever appropriation besides an annual general revenue budget this morning. The largest ever. Prior to this, there was a $714 million legislation that was signed into law during the CARES Act. This 1 billion, I think it's a little more, Honorable Freeland, than 74 million. Remember, we had to add in the 40. How much is it originally? How much is the total? Where's Tom Platero? I think it's something like 101 million, 1 billion, 100 million.
1.1 billion.
Yeah, 1.1 billion, because of the additional funds that were given to as well. Not only does this legislation help out what Honorable Freeland has indicated about giving the basic human rights, the basic necessities to be a human being of water and electricity to our Navajo people, whether you're from Lechi'i, where Honorable Paul Begay's from, or you're granddaughter of Miss Capitan here in Crownpoint, or whether you're an individual who's grown up in the Cuddle area, or an individual who's just raising a family from Alamo, New Mexico, who's trying to come home, or you're a family who's been burdened by this pandemic and had to move home. These will give you an opportunity to make sure that you have hope for your next 7 generations. As we are all 5-finger people here, we try to make sure we take care of one another. My name is Seth Damon. I'm Speaker of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, and I just want to say again, thank you very much for the invite this morning to my colleagues in this ceremony signing. I'm Bitahni, born for Nanesteja Tachini Do Ashine the Shachain, Sebine the Shanala. And I bring greetings from my mom and dad, Charles and Patricia Damon, this morning. I said, I'm going to Crownpoint this morning, Pops. And he said, I'd love to go with you, but I just can't get out of bed this morning. He's getting a little too old. I said, I told him he wanted to ride with Honorable Freeland. And he said, when he used to ride out that way back in the day, there used to be antelope out here. And I said, yeah, then you guys killed them all. You and all the all the old legends out here. I think the most important thing, again, we can take away too as well is the opportunity to state that when the Navajo Nation Council put together this plan, we really tried to say, okay, how can we do this significantly with the Office of the President and Vice President? And through time and collaboration, back and forth, negotiation, the process, I think one of the things that the President said to me this morning, I didn't know I learned the most important thing. And he told me, patience. This thing took patience. The Speaker's office, working together with Paulson Chaco and the team, creating this just on the backlog. There have been more work sessions, there have been more meetings, there have been over 123 days of straight debate on this legislation. By far the most ever of any piece of legislation that's gone through this body, through this council, through this primacy in order for us to get to this point. I really want to say again, thank you to the staff. Most importantly, this today, the staff, you took that effort and time and beatings, I'd say beatings too, probably, the time from the FRF office team to Paulson Chaco. I remember me and Paulson got in a heated debate, and I think I hung up the phone on him, he hung up the phone on me, and then the next morning we're at breakfast again. And that's how it had to be. We had to go back and forth to say, okay, how can we get this thing done and through this negotiation process. But that's just the way it is. It's a negotiation process to get mind and body thinkers together to get something done for the greater good of the Navajo people. And that's what we did here today. I just want to close out with saying, most importantly, today is a day that's going to live with us, because I don't know when we will have a chance like this to say, this is what we did for one of the greatest portions of our time in history. When history bended its arc in saying that, you know what, Mr. President, the Creator put you in this position right now to lead us through this pandemic. Vice President, same as well. My colleagues, the Creator put us in this position within the past 2.5 years to pull us out of this pandemic, get us to this point, work with our congressional leaders to say that we needed these dollars. If it wasn't for my colleagues, the Office of the President going back and forth to the federal government, we would have got left out of this second appropriation for ARPA funds. There was no tribes getting any funding. It was the collaboration and the leadership from the Navajo Nation that benefited every other indigenous person in this country. It's because of the leadership from the state task force. It's because of the leadership from the committees. It's because of the leadership from the president's testimonies. It's because of the leadership from the council's testimony. And those testimonies came directly from you. We brought that message from the grassroots level and took that to the halls of Congress, took that to President Biden's desk, took that to the Republicans, took that to the Democrats, and stated that this is what needs to be done. And that's something that we can honestly say collaboratively, we work together in order for us to go ahead and get this thing done here today. So again, I don't want to take up too much time here. I just want to say thank you again for the invite. It's a beautiful day here in Eastern Agency. And I just want to say, to everybody for being here this morning, Mr. President, Vice President, my colleagues, members of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, again, to the staff, thank you very much for your dedication, your hard work, in order for us to get to this point too as well. To the local chapter officials, your input was impressive in order for us to keep that on track, because if that didn't happen, if you didn't keep your delegates informed, we wouldn't have got an additional $8.8 million to each delegate region today. And that's something that really came out of that negotiation. And I really do want to say my colleagues, for getting us to this point, Mr. President. Have a good day and be safe, travel home and continue the efforts. But most importantly, I will make sure to continue the effort, Ms. Capitan, that I worry too as well. That's something, is the red tape that's gonna come back at us, but we need to make sure to work together with the division directors, with our colleagues, the president's office, in order for us to make sure that we can get these projects and these things done before 2026. So again, I say, Hogone.
Crownpoint, New Mexico, Eastern Agency, Northern Agency, Fort Defiance, telephone, cell phone, internet, computers, and it is a historic day for the Navajo people. So Navajo people, give yourselves a big round of applause. This has been talked about for many, many years, the need for infrastructure on our Navajo Nation. And I want to just say thank you for the time spent, long hours, late hours, sleepless nights. But at the end of the day, we got it across the finish line. That's true leadership. That is working together, right? Let's give a big round of applause to our Navajo Nation Council. Thank you. Thank you, Vice President. Thank you, Speaker Damon. Thank you, 24th Navajo Nation Council. Aro aret tra nazana no thenegi denebeke apakao. Nihido junhe yesina sos hatadola. Right? Di yakon hike ni hinatwo dainzen. Besh the chi bih ya dolte. Hagan dainzen. Hado ni di ni telephone, ni cell phone, joan dal nesto le the nebike apakao internet the halon do le. Nakachin hikepa. Junhe yesi kodona sos hatadola. Jo eshi hot ela shikeno thini. If kida hot ela ndaya. Kodo kidia antin saladan hit noni yada ho a. Aro konne nal sos belanda itle here. Ka nazlana brandaznala. A chapter. A chapter there. Aj voters dan linigi nal sos yelanda ile. Aron hi besh pas anbelt sosya. Dila na danit zen. Bedetni. Aro besh pas anle tsagahot zango nal sos. Besh pas anbiche ashchane en ihi. Aro nabikiyat Aro sae belanda itle. Joko zado kutzadiche. What's different today, ladies and gentlemen? This is what our past leaders have done before, is that when an idea comes up in a community, it goes into the chapter house. The chapter membership vote, and there's a resolution. And it's given to a council member to take into Window Rock. And at the council level, there's a debate, right? Some get passed, some don't. And sometimes it stays up there in Window Rock, right? The legislation, and it gets signed. But I remember when I was growing up that legislations used to be brought back home to the local community, to where the president, the chairman, signs that resolution into law. So today, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are here are going to witness how a bill becomes a law. Vice President Lizer, behazani do leh. Johot aun that need kinshik eno thini. Nahat nal sose nagye aron hinah en hijibkail netolel. Do isha shindolel. Nhek at abe hazini shin nash. Allah da sadagi kena da sadagi besh bahas an nkhayik khay. Bije kada yilda behaz ani sli kare tkhonas kodol nil besh chi nas kodol nil. The internet jon dal nesto phone jon dal nesto haganada dol nil. Johot elish eno thing so ba he nsno adishn nakha he nsin shik eno thini ade da isuno tsagi ashi ein shliro tknesani ibashchi to the chi ni ida shchiro tkachi ni da shnala so yat nihidini dole ano tsuka da isuno tsagi. You know, this, as was mentioned, and I'm not going to repeat, what was mentioned. A lot of history. We've gone through some very difficult times here on the Navajo Nation. Not just here, but all across the country and major countries around the world because of COVID-19. And yes, we're not out of this pandemic. There's a BA.5, a new variant out there, so we need to be very careful. Very, very contagious. Wear a mask. You know, they're saying out there now that they're gonna re-implement masks again, huh? You know what? Navajo, we never took it away, huh? We never took it away. And our leaders up in Washington, D.C. know how hard you all work, Navajo people. Nlen hik'en hidna ebena nishida yila da ist on dishneya. Kodon hizel ene yik'en da zon. Yinat ani don yik'en da zon. Ahot da ilya ani iltso. Jo hot wel de gona aste aro ade na ilteya. Na halon. Al-kai jesh enotlini. You know, the recovery funds that have come to the Navajo Nation is a shot in the arm to the Navajo Nation. Once we sign this legislation today, ladies and gentlemen, it will create jobs. We have our Navajo people living off the Navajo Nation, your children, your grandchildren that are building skyscrapers, right? They're building big old stadiums, they're building homes for other people because they have to work out there. But ladies and gentlemen, when we sign this bill, it is time to open back the door to the Navajo Nation and welcome our Navajo professionals and our young people home, right? Give them a big round of applause. They've been building infrastructure for other Indian tribes, and now it is our turn. And it's not just bringing them home, it's keeping them home, right? Some of our young people say, well, I don't want to move back. There's no water, right? No electricity, no homes. And ladies and gentlemen, this bill here is going to create infrastructure. And today, I'm sure the council will appreciate this. There's going to be no line item veto today. All right? 20 in favor and 2 opposed on this legislation. That is really working together, ladies and gentlemen. There was some give and take, yeah. You know, it's easy for a president to probably say, well, it's my way or the highway. I'm going to line item veto this and this and this because I don't agree with it. No. These leaders had some ideas of their own to bring monies to their local regions. And I appreciate that advocacy. There was 4 amendments to that legislation. One of those is to bring over $8 million back to local communities, local chapters. So I remember Rita Capitan, Johnny Johnson, the Eastern Agency Council, you know, really advocating for infrastructure. And I appreciate many of our leaders throughout the Navajo Nation doing the same. Yes, it's $1 billion. It's a lot of money, yes, don't get me wrong. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? The need is great, greater than $1 billion, $2 billion, right? The need is great. But this, again, is a shot in the arm for our Navajo Nation. $215 million for water and wastewater. $96 million for home electricity connections. $120 million for broadband. $130 million for housing. $50 million of that for our veterans. Thank you, veterans, for your service. Thank you to our elders, another $50 million for our elders and those of our Navajo people that can't help themselves build a home. $30 million to build housing manufacturing facilities in our community so that we can continue to build homes for our Navajo people. $120 million for new hardship assistance application. And because of that, Every single Navajo, 406,000 of us will be able to get support from this ARPA legislation. 150 million for bathroom additions. 210 million for local chapter priorities. 35 million for E911 and public safety. 19.2 million for healthcare. 5 million for cybersecurity. And those of you that are listening from western part of the Navajo Nation, Delegate Odo So is here today. 15.5 million for the former Bennett Freeze area housing. And they say the same thing too, that they've been left behind for many years. And today we make a promise to them that we are going to assist with housing and housing renovation. The Office of the President and Vice President, division directors, we have many of them here today. I want to recognize Tom Platero on this side, Oliver Arviso from General Services, Division of General Services, Tico Charlie, Navajo Nation Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, Deanna Neswood Gishi, Division of Social Services, J.T. Willie, Division of Economic Development, our Attorney General, Doreen McPaul, Dr. Perfilia Fowler, the Division of Human Resources, from our Navajo Department of Transportation, Garrett Silversmith, Navajo Nation EPA, Valinda Shirley. And of course, we want to say thank you to our former NNTRC Director, Chris Vicente. And that person that has facilitated our divisions and our division directors, let's give a big, warm welcome to our Chief of Staff, Paulson Chaco, as well. Thank you, Paulson Chaco. And I hope I got every director that's here, that's physically here. Mr. James Zorline, also, thank you so much for the work that you have done. You know, monumental, and happy birthday, as Vice President said, and monumentous designation for the Navajo Nation in terms of veterans benefits. So thank you so much, Jim Zorline. Remember, the CARES Act did help a lot of our people get water lines, electricity, also financial relief. And I was honored to rub shoulder to shoulder with these division directors, also with our chapter officials during the pandemic. You know, it was some scary times. Yes, there was no vaccine, but we were out there because we wanted to show that the Navajo people, that the leadership was out there in their community. You know, and we were able to help each other out and save many more lives throughout the Navajo Nation. The infrastructure team, thank you so much for your hard work. And Leonard Sosi was mentioned, and many others a part of these long discussions. And I just want to leave you with a verse. In Luke chapter 6, verse 48, it says this: they are like a man building a house who dug down deep and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck that house but could not shake it because it was well built. Think about that. We are planning the foundation for the future of the Navajo Nation, ladies and gentlemen. Infrastructure is key. Infrastructure will set the tone for economic development, community development, and to bring our Navajo people home. That's what we want. That's what we long for. It's going to bring our moms and dads home. It's going to bring our family members home so that they can take care of their families here. And it'll push back on these social problems It'll push back on the monsters that are plaguing our people. Because moms can be moms, dads can be dads. And to be able to look forward in unity with their family for a better tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for listening, everyone. And right now, we will sign the legislation into law. God bless you, and God bless our great Navajo Nation. And after we sign, Vice President will also have some comments. So give yourselves a big round of applause, a celebration all over the Navajo Nation. And our thoughts and prayers go out to our Navajo people who've lost loved ones. They all have gone back to the Creator. That's what we believe. And those of us here that are still alive, we have a job to do. It's all about nation building. God bless you, and God bless our great Navajo Nation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is a memo that we'll be sending over or giving to the speaker on the way back to Window Rock. So this memo or letter is to Speaker Seth Damon, and it reads, it's regarding CJN-29-22, an action relating to the Nabik-Iyatikit Committee and the Navajo Nation Council allocating $1,070,298,867 of Navajo Nation Fiscal Recovery Funds, approving the Navajo Nation Fiscal Recovery Fund expenditure plan for chapter and regional projects, public safety, emergency communications, E911, rural addressing projects, cybersecurity, public health projects, hardship assistance, water and wastewater projects, broadband projects, home electricity connection and electric capacity projects, housing projects, and manufacturing housing facilities, bathroom additions projects, construction, contingency funding, and reduced administrative funding. We didn't talk really too much about the reduction of the administrative funding, huh? We'll talk about that later. We got kind of beat up on that, but dear Speaker Damon, thank you to Delegate Mark Freeland for sponsoring this legislation, the Navajo Nation Council, Division of Community Development, the Fiscal Recovery Fund Office, Department of Justice, Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, Navajo Area Indian Health Services. Let's give them a round of applause. NTUA, NECA, IHS, and many other partners who came together to develop this legislation for the benefit of the Navajo people and future generations to come. As leaders, we have a duty to administer these funds in the best interest of our people and the Navajo Nation. The COVID-19 pandemic brought devastation and loss of life to our people. The pandemic is still with us, and we offer our continued prayers to all who have suffered loss and illness from this virus. The American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, fiscal recovery funds were allocated to the nation to support our efforts to respond to the impacts of COVID-19 and further the response initiatives achieved with the CARES Act funding. Never in our history have we received such a large allocation of funds to develop our nation's basic infrastructure and improve the lives of our Navajo citizens. Many of our citizens have always had to live without running water, clean drinking water, electricity, and other basic services to support their daily activities, health, and welfare. Resolution CJN-29-22 evolved from a legislation that initially included projects proposed by the Department of Health to construct senior centers, long-term assisted living facility, wellness centers, and warehouses to store perishable food and medical supplies. It also included proposals from the Division of Economic Development to assist our small business owners and support our tourism industries. These expenditure plan projects, among others, were deleted, amended with the chapter and regional project expenditure plan, which allowed the council delegates to select projects for their regions. We strongly urge the council delegates to consider the aforementioned projects that were deleted. These projects were previously determined fiscal recovery fund eligible and that the determination will aid in expediting the process needed to obligate, expend the funds, and execute construction contracts. As we have stressed over and over, time is of the essence. We cannot allow funds to revert back to the U.S. Treasury. There are federal deadlines to meet, and Resolution CJN 29-22 imposes even more deadlines. These varying deadlines will require diligent tracking by program staff and their respective administrative and legislative oversight to ensure that the funds are expended. We are not only dealing with administrative deadlines, but supply chain shortages, inflationary costs, and staffing shortages, along with the rest of this country. All of these challenges will require improved coordination between the branches to complete this tremendous task. There is much work to do, and we look forward to working with the Navajo Nation Council. And so we sign Resolution CJN 29-22 into law. If I can get the division directors to join us, public, if you want to join us too, you all got your mask on, except the three leadership. Yeah, come on over. Everyone, this is going to be trapped in time. So if you're here on Navajo time, you might as well get in because you can turn it in with your TA. Come on over. So that's the letter that goes to the speaker from myself and the vice president. And drum roll. All right, here is the legislation. And just to be clear for the council delegates, no line item veto. Look at that. Wow. This 15th day of July, we are signing this bill into law, ladies and gentlemen. And here is my signature.